every situation in the world, and you can look at it through your physical eyes, which are often leaning more in the direction of vulnerability, or through your non-physical eyes, who are always looking for your strength. The source within you knows who you are, knows the stability of your being, and never sees anything that you're living in the attitude of vulnerability to you, because the source within you knows the backup systems you've got going on. Do you understand what we're getting at? As you are determined to feel your power rather than your weaknesses, your strengths rather than your weaknesses, your clarity rather than your confusion, your sureness rather than your unsteadiness, as you begin to get glimpses and you begin to deliberately want to practice the vibration of that well-being, what begins to happen to you? Oh, of course, you're going to rendezvous with all kinds of things. You're out here in the world, and there is nothing that comes to you that does not come on the powerful, well-defined, always accurate, always fair basis of law of attraction. Nothing ever comes to you that isn't about that. But we want you to know, you have the choice in every moment to define how you want to feel. And if your desire to feel good is strong enough, you will always find a way to come back into your power. So now the man from State Farm is looking at the front of Esther's car, and Esther is explaining to him how it happened, really wanting him to know she just didn't bump it up on something. He actually didn't care how it happened. He was just there to assess what had happened and to make a determination about it. But Esther's explaining it to him. And he said, I worked for Ford. I had a couple of those Mustangs. They are really squirrely. The back end of those fishtails, they get away from you. They are really, really hard on wet pavement. And it was raining that day. And then Esther went to her hairdresser and is explaining to her hairdresser, in case she happens to see the car in the parking lot, and her hairdresser said, I had 2 Mustangs. They are really difficult on wet roads. There's something about the back end of those that makes them really hard to control. And suddenly, Esther is feeling relief, because she had been holding that one little nugget of blame to that little 18-year-old girl who the last time she saw her was in the parking lot crying until her eyelashes were coming off. Wanting Esther to know that she didn't mean to do it, she didn't mean to do it, she didn't mean to do it, she didn't mean to do it. So Esther called her father and said, I just want you to know that 2 people today told me exactly the same thing, and I think we should all let your little girl off the hook on this. He said, what do you have to say? And Esther said, those cars are hard to manage on the wet roads. We were all too hard on her. And Esther could feel the relief coming over him. And she knows that there was soon to be relief coming over this little girl, because everything that happens is a co-creation. And when you decide that you're going to blame the one who seemed at most fault, instead of take responsibility for the part you play, the reason you feel so awful is not because you're mad at the little girl. Is because you're all upside down about how things are being created in your reality. You are running around this planet as cooperative components to one another, not to do bad things to each other and not to teach other lessons, but to sift through the data to put things in your vortex to which your inner being is already aligned, so that you can experience the joy of alignment. So then Esther began noticing what fun it was. She met a whole host of new people on the process of getting this into alignment, and there's still more to come. More lovely people interacting on different levels. Isn't that what life is all about? And so, of course, you don't want someone to bury their Mustang in the front of your vehicle. That's not our message here at all. But we are acknowledging that there are plenty of things that you don't want that are bumping into you. Plenty of things that you don't want that are bumping into you. And your reaction to the bump, it's normal when you first get bumped to have a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe if you don't really understand who you are. But in time, the woman who drove the Jaguar was standing in a more stable place than Esther in terms of her life. Her husband came to assess it, and they were both smiling in the parking lot. And Esther said to both of them, stop smiling.